Hi, welcome to the e-commerce talk. Today I have a very special guest, Louis, our in-house voice commerce expert. Hi Louis, welcome to the show.
Hey Katharina, hello.
How are you?
Good.
Yeah?
Excited for today's show?
Well, maybe you can explain what you do here at Sana Commerce and why you are our in-house voice commerce expert.
Yeah, I can definitely elaborate a bit on that. My name is Louis van Roesel. I work in the product team at Sana Commerce. I'm the product owner for the core framework. That's the part that is actually taking the orders before they flow into the ERP. And I actually have a small history with voice ordering, because when I was little, when I was I think 12, I was a bit nerdy already, and I've always been very passionate about technology. And then I installed speech recognition software on my computer, and I actually used it in middle school, I remember, for homework and transforming speech into text and then using that for my homework. And I can tell you that's quite a long time ago, and the quality was really bad, and it actually took me a lot of time to actually process that text into proper homework. But it was my first, it was the first time I got to know voice recognition and to work with it. And you're right, we see that it's happening in commerce too. So I'm happy to talk about that today. Great.
You're like almost a founding father of voice recognition technology.
Yeah, that's not entirely true. It's actually older than it seems, but I can tell a bit more about it.
Yeah. So maybe we should go into the basics for anyone who doesn't know what voice commerce is or voice recognition software is. Yep. Maybe you can tell us how it started and the history and how it works a bit.
Yeah, basically voice ordering or voice commerce, those are the same things. It's basically placing orders, but not using a keyboard or a mouse or a screen. So there's no UI, no user interface. You're just using your voice for finding the product and placing the order. And it's actually a Q&A. So the computer, like a voice assistant, that's how they call it, he or she talks back and asks you is this the product you want to order? And you confirm with yes or no, and then you actually place the order. And it actually started already quite a long time ago. IBM, this the technology company, started already in 1961 with their first speech recognition software. And also when you look back at our iPhones, like Apple, for example, has Siri, and they already started with that in 2011. Amazon introduced Alexa in 2014, so it's not super new. But I agree with you that you see this trend that it becomes more and more relevant these days. You see more and more households having a voice assistant in their houses. That I think the impact for e-commerce is already ongoing, and it will become bigger and bigger.
Interesting to know that it's not also new technology, because you hear a lot that it's very new technology. So was wondering, how would this technology enhance customers' buying experience online? Yeah,
I can explain that topic, and I see the strongest benefit for voice ordering is actually that you can do it hands-free. Yeah, you can basically do other things while you're placing the order. So it is it's really convenient. So let's take, for example, a handyman. And he needs to place an order online. He can actually drive to his next project, and I think oh wait, I need some screws for my project tomorrow. I can give a call, or I can use my phone for placing this order, and then the order is taken through voice. So that's really convenient. It saves him a lot of time, the handyman, and it's really convenient.
So, wow, that sounds like life-changing almost. What would you say the benefits of using this as a B2B company are? What are the benefits?
I think it will save a lot of time. Yeah. If it goes well, it will save a lot of time, and the person placing the order can just do other things in the meantime, and I think that's really convenient. So mostly ease of use. Yeah.
So you said if it works, are there any disadvantages of having this system?
Yeah, I think that voice ordering works pretty well for repetitive orders. Voice assistants are good at recognizing shopping patterns. So if you have placed an order before, then voice assistants can help you placing the same order for the second time. So then you can reorder the same product, and that works pretty well. But also research has shown that actually the visual component is very important for making the order like being placed for the conversion, and that the visual component, seeing the actual product, what you see on a computer, in a web shop or on your mobile phone, is actually crucial for exploring and discovering new products. So I would see that as the first disadvantage, that for exploring and discovering new products, we're not there yet, especially in the B2B space, where there you have a lot of colors and variants and sizes. If you want to explore them and want to browse them, it will be very difficult to do that through voice, I think. Another topic is that, like the technology is not there yet, and that accuracy is key for both for the buyer but also for the seller. Otherwise, the seller gets a lot of returns and everything, a lot of overhead. So accuracy is very important, and especially in the B2B world, where you have difficult product names, product titles with serial numbers, and then you have to pronounce them correctly to make sure the right order, the right product is ordered. So that is a different thing. And I think the last challenge is privacy. You still see in research that many people do not feel comfortable about having a voice assistant or a microphone and always listening voice assistant in your house or in your office, and that people are reluctant with having a voice assistant.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of privacy talk these days.
Yeah.
But this leads very well into my next question, is that if you need all these visuals, would AR or VR be something that you could combine with voice commerce to make a better thing?
Yeah, I think like augmented reality or virtual reality, I think would be really strong answers for and would be a good add on top of voice commerce to make to compensate the lack of the visual component. I think that would be very good, and I think that is a good solution. But again, it can be costly. You have to you have to. You can imagine, especially our smaller customers, it can be quite expensive. And maybe in the future, when it will become cheaper and cheaper to develop augmented reality or virtual reality, then it will also be more accessible for our customers that have not huge budgets on this.
So Louis, you talked about voice intonations and recognition. Do you think that it's going to improve in the coming years?
Yeah, definitely. But we will not be there. It will not be perfect within 1 year from now, because especially taking into account that speech recognition already exists there since 1961, since IBM did their first experiments with it. I think it will still take a couple of years. Also, shop owners need to optimize their content, their shop content. So not only product titles, if they're like very difficult, and serial numbers and variant codes in product titles, you can imagine it will be very difficult for voice assistants to recognize these products, especially if they have not been ordered before. Yeah. So content needs to be optimized, not only the product titles, but also the product descriptions, especially if the voice assistant wants to help you to guide through the process. Then it really helps if there is a good Q&A on the product detail page, on the product available at least, so that the voice assistant can get to know this content and then actually make smart recommendations. That is one thing, and I think it will still take a couple of years.
So it's not going to be a perfect solution immediately?
Not immediately. I think it will take some years, especially, but maybe because there's more attention for these days and more home assistants, it might go faster these days. That's already going on. We will see.
Well, that leads perfectly into my next question, which is what do B2B companies need to do to be able to incorporate voice commerce in their e-commerce platform?
Yeah, first of all, they need to optimize the technology, and they need to think whether their product catalog and their customer base is suitable for voice ordering. Especially, so I can imagine, for example, that early adapters that they think like, oh, I want to do this, I want to work on this, but then they might make the mistake that they invest a lot of money in the technology, which will not be the leading technology and will be replaced in 1 or 2 years after that. That is a risk. At the same time, if you wait too long, you will fall behind. But I think we're at the early stage. I think my advice would be have an internal discussion with your e-commerce team and with your technology team. Brainstorm like, would e-commerce and voice ordering, would it be something for us as a company? Would it be something would it fit with our customer base and with our product catalog? And I think that would be a good start.
So that's a great recommendation for companies out there watching and that want to implement voice commerce. But I also would like to know, maybe you have something else to add? What other recommendations?
One of the recommendations I also can give is that voice assistants nowadays are good with repetitive orders. Yeah. And it really helps that if they can recognize a shopping pattern. And for recognizing shopping patterns, they need historical data, shopping data. And then the more data which is available for the shopping assistant, the higher the quality of the recommendations will be from the voice assistant. And that is, I think, one of the strongest sides if you combine voice ordering in combination with integrated e-commerce, like Sana, for example, integrated with the ERP. Then there's a lot of historical data available. So in the voice recommendations the quality will be better, the accuracy of the orders will increase, and therefore you will have a higher conversion and a higher customer satisfaction. So I think that is 2 wins in 1.
Wow, that's great to hear of so many developments in voice commerce. Thanks for coming on the show today, and Louis.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
We hope we answered all of your questions about voice commerce. And if we didn't, please do not hesitate to contact our e-commerce experts. They're always willing to help you out. And if you want to stay up to date in the latest e-commerce news, subscribe to our newsletter.